Can you do it?
Namo, fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo, fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo, fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha.
So you can do the next one.
The unsurpassed, deep and profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we last time we learned about the common cause of the depression, right? So we continue on those things. Okay, so last time we stopped at the rug, right? So we know that the common cause of the depression is a genetic disease, as well as because of when we have any kind of mental disorder, it's basically it will cause the brain chemistry to be imbalanced. That is the mental disorder problem, and the depression is one of the mental disorder. It doesn't mean that all the mental disorder is either depression. No, we have anxiety, also the mental disorder, panic attack is also a mental disorder. Eating disorder, those are also considered a mental disorder. Or depression, also the mental disorder. Okay. We also learn about the tumor. Yeah, the tumor. That means in the past, right? When we have if we experience the very negative experience, for example, someone abused us, someone hurt us, or whatever, and we carry those things inside us, right? And it will, as long as we carry, it will, we will become depressed, and that's why we have to let go. And when we live in the abusive environment in the past, and we become resentment, right? We carry on the resentment. We carry on the resentment for, and the longer we carry on, the more the depression we have, the more depression we have. So that's important. So today, let me show you a quick video about this experience about the depression. Yeah, let me show.
How heavy is this glass of water? Melissa, would you?
Can you hear it, Will? Will?
Yeah.
Good, good.
Care to answer?
8 ounces,
12 ounces?
16 ounces.
The absolute weight of the glass doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold on to it. If I hold it for a minute, nothing happens. If I hold it for an hour, my arm will begin to ache. If I hold it all day long, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. Oh.
Kwa, after this, can you help me to summarize this one? Kwa? Kwa,
Yes,
you go.
The weight of the glass hasn't changed, but the longer I hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and the worries of life are like this glass of water. If you think about them for a little while, there's no problem. Think about it for a little bit longer, it begins to hurt. You think about them all day long, and you'll feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Always remember, put the glass down.
Go ahead, Kwa.
Um, I'm not really sure, Ty.
Huh? Can you summarize the video?
I didn't get to watch the whole video because I was talking to my mom.
Oh, okay, okay. Nicholas, go ahead and help me to summarize the story. Nicholas, are you there? Oh my goodness. I think it's a good idea to turn on your video so I can see you. And otherwise, I don't know you are there or not. That is tough for me to teach you. Good. Henry,
Yes, hi.
can you summarize the story, the video?
Can you hear me, Ty?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, the teacher is demonstrating how stress works using the metaphor of the water. So if you hold on to the water for too long, your hand gets hurt. So like it's kind of similar to stress. If you hold on to stress for too long, your brain gets tired and you end up having a negative mental health.
Okay. That's a good one. And why he said that just put the glass of water down. What does that mean?
I mean, you let go of the stress and you don't get stressed anymore.
Okay, that's good. So can you give me, okay, Serena, can you be able to help me to give me an example of those things? Oh, and Will, can you turn on your video, everyone? If you please turn on your video, thank you. So we can learn together. Okay. And Will, Serena, are you there? Huh?
Yeah, sorry, I had to go text Vic real quick. I don't see him on.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone turn on your video so we can see each other? I think that's the best way for me to help you to learn. Otherwise, it's very tough for me to communicate. If I call you a few times, you do not respond. That is tough for me. Okay. Okay, thank you. Vincent, Quyên, and Hung, Khoa, and Nicholas, and Aaron. Can you turn on your video? All right.
I'm gonna join on my laptop then, so I
Thank
can turn
you.
on my cam.
Okay. So basically, when he said that leave the class up, right? Put the class down. So when we have experience in the past, the negative, that means it's when we were young, we lived under the abusive environment or trauma or whatever those things we have. We carry on those things. As long as we carry on, we will suffer a lot. Just like the cloud of water. As long as we carry on, just like the water that we holding on that long, right? The more we holding on, the more suffer we get. And you know what? When we suffer, we will harm ourselves and we harm others. Let me give you an example. I don't know. I told you about one of the friend I have. He when he was young, right? We were the boat people. Do you know what did the boat people look like, Serena? No. Tammy, do you know what the boat people look like?
I think you explained it before as people that traveled from out of the country during the war by boat.
Yeah, quickly on the boat people, so you have an idea how we live, how we have been through. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Both refugees. Okay. Yeah, we were. This is the small boat that we usually we and a lot of people on the small boat, but 100 people on the boat, and sometimes we have no food. We don't have water and food for many days. If we are lucky enough, we been able to see the well, when I was a boat people, right, I am on the sea for a couple of days, and luckily I was rescued by the I think it's the U.S. Ship, yeah, and that was one of the lucky that we've been through. A lot of people do not have that chance. So think about it: 10 out of 10 people, half of them is missing on the maybe die on the sea, and some of them also been through the pirate. Right? It's a scary story. All this is very scary, and even though we make to the shore, we also carry with us a lot of suffer, depression. So anyway, when we well, we were the boat people, and I think I have one of my friends. We are similar in condition. Well, we have no parent. Well, we escaped with our parents. And you know what? He lived with his uncle and aunt family, and they abused him so badly, right? And when he get older, and he went to university, and he finished his bachelor degree, even though he studied Buddhism for some time, but for many years. That means I think it's more than 35 years already. He could not be able to release the resentment that he carried with him for many years. He holding the resentment against his uncle family back. Whenever he heard someone say, we mention about his uncle name, and you know what? The automatic thought of anger hit him, attach him just like that. He could not be able to control himself. This is the suffer that we get. Just like the glass of water we hold, the longer we hold, the longer our arm will be numb and paralyzed, right? We cannot do anything. The same thing. Just like the emotion, especially the resentment. So doesn't matter whatever. Let's say that in life, nothing is smooth. There nothing called perfect. We don't ask for perfect thing. We don't ask for everything is smooth. No. We do have, sometimes we have up and down. It's okay. Except at ease. And you know what? Even though when you encounter the negative environment, for example, later on when the young kids get married, and they will have to go through a lot of relationship struggle, right, in life. That is life. That is because not when you young, you look at things very beautiful, but when you really go into the real life, that thing not beautiful at all. Okay, so doesn't matter how bad thing is in life, we try to always live with the positive thinking, optimistic. Don't let the negative thought kill us. Does it make sense? Even though someone really harm us, and they are the one who treat us badly, we try our best to treat them. We do not hold on any resentment. I know it's not easy, but once you understand, I will teach you all the negative thinking and how you be able to convert those negative thinking. That makes your life even better. suffer or happy come from the mind, not come from other people. Does that make sense to you, Serena? You understand? Serena, you understand? Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay. So the enemy from the outside cannot harm us, then the enemy within us. Nicholas, are you there, girl? Aaron, are you there?
Yeah, Thầy.
Okay. So can you tell me the enemy from outside cannot harm us more than the enemy within us? What does that mean?
Sorry, repeat that again.
Okay. The number one, who is our number one enemy?
Ourselves.
Okay, when we say ourselves is the number one enemy, what are they then?
Pardon?
What are they?
Are you referring to they as in like other people?
No, when you say that we are the number one enemy is we are, right? We are we are. So what the thing that make us to become those things become the number one enemy within us?
Like greed and stuff.
Yeah, greed, hatred, ignorance. That means when we say ignorant, that means we have no wisdom, right? Therefore, when we have this thing here, that's why other people can make us get angry, get resentment. And this unguarded thought will harm us, not other people. Does that make sense to you, Vincent?
Yes, Thầy.
Good. So try to learn how to keep up the optimistic view instead of pessimistic view. Then you know what? Doesn't matter how that person treat us badly. It's okay. We can be able to protect ourselves. How do we protect ourselves? Khoa, are you there?
Yeah.
How do we protect ourselves from harming other people? Even though the bad people try to harm us, how do we protect ourselves?
I think I think the best way, if other people harm you, well, do you mean like physically or like mentally harm us?
Well, let's say mentally.
Okay, well, I think mentally, I feel like if they are like rude to you or they say things to you, I think knowing yourself and knowing who you are, and being the stronger person, being the bigger person, will be definitely better if you were to take in those mean things they say personally, and it'll just make a burden to yourself and make you rethink what you think about yourself.
Okay, let's say someone has tried to accuse you for something that you have not, you haven't done, right?
Yeah.
And is that easy to without react or without holding the resentment?
I think that's very difficult to like for you to react, because you know you didn't do that the certain thing, but they accuse you, and it makes you kind of angry, or like it makes other people want to believe you instead of them. But I think if you played smart and you let other people realize that you didn't do it, and it'll look bad for the person who accused you, and it'll be better for you.
Okay. So what about if other people cheating on us? Is that easy? Kevin, are you there? Huh? Kevin.
Yes, Thầy.
Okay, how do we deal with the people who cheating on us?
I just joined. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? All right. Aaron, okay. How about this, Tammy? Can you help them when the people cheating on us? How should we be? How should we counter?
When they're cheating on us, like stealing from us,
Oh, any kind of cheating, right?
it's best just to walk away from them. Any kind of, I think, negativity, it's best just to kind of walk away. I wouldn't waste energy arguing with them or accusing them, because you're probably not gonna be able to change their mind anyways.
Mm. But when we walk away, is that good enough?
Well, we got to let it go too. So
Oh.
not only physically walk away, but mentally walk away too. So if somebody says something nasty to you, don't take it in and hold on to it like the cup of water. Put the cup of water down. Put the thought down. You know it's not true. You know you didn't do it, or you know what they're doing is wrong. But don't be resentful. Just walk away from them. Don't hold on to it.
Yeah, the key in here is do not have any kind of resentment against them. If we do, we harm ourselves, not them. This is important. Here, when the Buddha was still in the world, right, there was a king called Achati. He was a very bad king. He killed his father for the king throne, right, to take over the king, to become the king. That's what he did. And he at the beginning, he was very bad king, very evil. And that meant a lot of neighbor country as well as his own citizens scared at him, very scared at him. But later on, he became the Buddha lay person. That means follow the Buddha teaching. And you know what? He changed entirely, 180 degrees. Okay? And he become a very good person. He treats everyone kindness and compassion. And you know what? Due to that, other people, other country take advantage of him and try to bully him and try to harm him. And you know what he did? He went to the Buddha and he asked the Buddha, the world honor one, that means the Buddha, I have learned from the world honor one, and I follow your teaching, and I did exactly what you told me. But you know what? Other country, they took advantage of me and they try to harm me and they try to harm my own citizen. What should I do? Okay, what should I do? This is the Buddha said. Well, he told the story to the king. In the past, long time ago, there were the poison snake, right? And you know what? Every time the people walk by, the poison snake, it harm people and kill people a lot. And you know what? One time there were the monks who were attend Alahat, right? Alahat. And he came to the poison snake and he said to the poison snake, due to your bad karma in the past, that's why you born as the poison snake. Why you still doing that deed to harm others? And you know what? Since that day on, he treat and you know what? He followed the teaching of the monk, and he did the snake did not harm anyone, and treat that means treat everyone kindness and then you know what? The people took advantage of that and they used the stick and they hit the snake and they harmed the snake. And one day the monk came over and the snake complained to the Arahat, said that, sir, venerable sir, I follow your teaching, and you know what? They took advantage of me and they abused me and they hit me so badly. What should I do? How do I protect myself? Well, the Arahat said that, well, I told you not to harm other people, and I did not say that you should not protect yourself. That means you should protect yourself. That means you can use the form of your body as a snake to protect yourself but do not harm them. Do never at any moment have any intention to harm others. That means you can scare them off, but don't try to harm them with your own poison. That means never carry on any resentment and never harm them. And after that, the Buddha returned to the current situation and he told the king, you should do the same. Well, you can use your own power to protect yourself and your country, but do not have any resentment against others. And do not try to kill them. If you can be able to avoid, you should try your best to avoid at any cost. Does it make sense? Hear me?
Yes, that makes sense.
So this is important. We should learn to be wise. So this is important. Okay, now we go back to here. We know that drug is very bad, right? Make people addicted, right? When we're talking about drug, we're talking about the non-medicine. I'm not talking about medicine, okay? I'm talking about the drug like cocaine, marijuana, all those things. Whatever make us addicted, they are bad. Why addictive is bad? Let me show you the movie. Okay, hold on. All right, I need someone to volunteer, help me. Oh, Shavina, you want to summarize the video after the video?
All right.
Yeah, you can try it. Don't worry. Okay, it should be okay.
Like really, really bad. We've been taught that addiction is inevitable and that addicts are completely irrational. But you might be surprised to learn that a lot of what we think we know about drugs and addiction comes from a series of studies done in the 1950s and 60s on rats. And it turns out that what we think we know, yeah, it might just be wrong. This is Bruce Alexander.
I'm a psychologist with Simon Fraser University.
Bruce has been studying addiction for almost 50 years. When he started back in the 70s, there was a huge public concern about heroin use and what many at the time described as a growing epidemic.
The view was that heroin was essentially a demon drug. If you took it a few times, it would flip a switch in your brain and you would be forever addicted. That was it. You were doomed. And it was in the media, it was in the movies. But in those days, there was also a primary kind of research evidence that was used to support this idea.
Much of that research used animal studies, particularly laboratory rats. Rats would be placed in really small cages called Skinner boxes.
A Skinner box is a box which is just about 3 times the size of a rat. The experiments involved putting rats in Skinner boxes with a needle which was implanted in their jugular vein, so that if the rats pressed the little lever on the wall, they would get a little surge of heroin in their bloodstream.
Press the pedal, get a shot of heroin. Press the pedal, get another shot.
And in some cases, they just kept pumping heroin into themselves to the point where they forgot to eat and would die.
Beliefs about rat studies would find their way into PSAs and Hollywood films, and they would become part of our collective understanding of just how dangerous these drugs really were.
These experiments seemed to show that any creature, including even the lowly rat, if given access to heroin, would simply take lots and lots of it.
But Bruce had another idea.
What these experiments really show is that rats who are in solitary confinement will take lots of heroin.
See, rats are very social animals. Rats don't normally spend their lives in harnesses with catheters shoved in their necks. They prefer playing with other rats, running around, doing rat stuff.
To put a rat in a Skinner box is to make this very, very social creature live a life of solitary confinement.
Bruce and his colleagues wondered if maybe these rats were taking so many drugs because they were living in such an unnatural environment. So he organized his own rat experiment, but with some important differences. Most notably, he built a much bigger enclosure for them.
About half as big as my garage floor, as a matter of fact.
Bruce and his colleagues filled it with everything a rat could want: food, running wheels, and other rats to play with. He called it Rat Park. His team put a group of rats in the park and another group of rats in solitary cages. They made morphine freely available to both. The results were eye-opening. Giving the choice between plain water and morphine, the Rat Park residents chose the water. It's not like the rats in Rat Park totally abstained from morphine, but
You could say that they acted more or less like human recreational users of morphine.
Bruce and his colleagues even tried an experiment where the rats in cages were giving nothing but morphine-laced water to drink for 57 days straight.
In other words, we made sure they were good and addicted. In terms of the conventional expectation, every one of those rats should have been addicted for the rest of its life.
But when they were placed in Rat Park, those same addicted rats generally chose to drink the plain water and voluntarily went through withdrawal.
People were shocked that the rats in Rat Park had so little interest in morphine.
The Rat Park study suggested a much more complex picture of addiction than many people had suspected. Addiction wasn't simply a story of chemicals rewiring our brains or hijacking our reward centers. Other factors like environment, feeling of isolation or hopelessness, poor social bonds, and lack of control all likely play an important role in what leads to addiction. Think about the implications for how we've been treating drug addicts. They're often shamed and ostracized, thrown in jail, moved into halfway houses, instead of integrating them into society. You could say that we're kind of isolating them, in cages, like rats. Doesn't seem like such a great idea. And more importantly, it doesn't seem like it's working. At the time it was published, the Rat Park study was largely ignored, but it's finally starting to gain traction today.
It's literally taken 35 years for the Rat Park experiment to find its way into the popular understanding of addiction.
In recent years, other researchers have replicated Bruce's studies and conducted new ones of their own, adding to our increasingly complex understanding of addiction. And that's great. With concerns over drugs and addiction still dominating the headlines today, a careful analysis and understanding of the research is more vital now than ever. After all, we're never going to get the treatment right if we're getting the diagnosis wrong. Subscribe to our show page and be the first to see new episodes of Wrong.
Okay, all right. Serena, need help?
Yeah.
You want to try to summarize it?
So I think basically he was saying everyone who thinks addiction is just because when you take it you get addicted because it's messing with your brain. Basically it's not. It's basically because of how people are, like if they're lonely, they can't talk to anyone, they're hopeless, they usually turn to drugs. And that's what this doctor, I don't remember his name, he was trying to figure out why rats would be going for heroin, because rats are mainly more social. So if you put them in a place where they're not social enough, they're going to turn to something. So basically what he was trying to say was that if basically you're getting addicted by choice, not because you're being given it, like you're forced to take it because your body wants it. Basically of how you've been and treated, I guess, in a way.
Look like you have a lot of background noise, Serena.
What?
Yeah, look like you have a lot of background noise.
I'm sorry about that.
All right. So let's see. Emmy, can you elaborate it more?
So they had a couple of experiments that they did. The first one they had rats that they put in small cells, small containers, that were only like 3 times the size of the rat itself. And they gave it 2 options of water or water with heroin in it. And the rat would, the majority of the time, use the heroin. But they did a second experiment to kind of show that when in the second experiment, they had a rat park where they had plenty of room and all the activities that normal rats do, things to play with, other rats to be involved with. And they found when they gave them those social interactions that the rats would want the water over the heroin most of the time. They would still use the heroin or the morphine, whichever one it was, but it was more just for recreational use every now and then. So they weren't like using it all the time like the rats that were in solitary confinement. So what they found was, they concluded is that it's not a matter of being addictive, where like if you use it, you have to have it all the time, but it's more of being socially integrated. So if people are socially integrated, they came to the conclusion that if people are socially integrated, where they're not confined to a small spot or isolated by themselves, that they're gonna not want to choose. It's a choice. They won't choose to use the drugs as much.
So that means the rat also that a human, right? We if we in the very bad environment, isolated or whatever, we will eventually using drugs to become addictive, right? But when we in the good environment, we will not want to go that route. We will go to the good option instead of the bad option. So in this case, the water. That means that the rat also can be able to withdraw from the addictive. That is a good thing. So that means we can apply to the human that well, when the bad people make a mistake, commit crime or whatever, we should try to help them to integrate it into the society instead of confine them into the small case, just like the rat. And they will, when they get out, they even become worse. That's not the way we should want. You see, so help them to train them to have some kind of vocational or some kind of vocational, then they can be able to handle their life. Right, that's more important. And especially when we help the depressed person or people, we need to provide them the good environment. That is the number one thing. And secondly, we always give them the love, the kindness and compassion. And this makes them to, because the people who depressed, usually they have low self-esteem, very low, because they don't have confidence for themselves. And this is important. That's why when we provide them the good environment and we, without encouragement, we will boost their self-esteem to higher, and they can move on in their life. It will take time, but think it's doable. It's doable. So when we learn this class here, we not only learn about the depression, but we understand it so we can help ourselves other as well with the solution that later on you will see how we can be able to counter the cognitive distortion or the negative thought, right? We will learn how to convert all those things into positive in both from Western psychology and also from Buddhist psychology. This is important. This is the very important thing that we need to learn. That means we can free from depression, and we can help others free from depression. And this is the you can save other people for a life. That's important. Okay. Now let's move on. Anyone have any questions so far? Any question you want to ask? Okay. We also learned that loneliness, right? Why loneliness is also the depression? Why? Anyone? Vincent?
Maybe because you don't have anyone to like talk or interact with, and you're just like in your own thoughts.
Just like the rat, right? They in their cell case, the small case, right? They isolated the rat. So not they only go in the bad the evil path instead of the good path. I mean, they will put themselves into addiction or some kind of other thing. Addiction can be many forms, not only the drug, but also technology, game is one of them too. It's important. Oh, where your brother? Vincent, where are they?
I am not sure. Let
Oh
me
my
check.
God. Oh my God, they ran away from me already. Yeah. All right. Um, so lifestyle, why lifestyle is also become cause them to become depression. Anyone can help me to give me the example? Andrew, give me the example of the lifestyle that put ourselves into the depression.
Can you repeat the question, Thầy?
Okay, lifestyle, right? What kind of lifestyle will put us into the depression?
Kind of like if you don't have a healthy lifestyle, like if you don't exercise a lot, and if you don't like go outside a lot, you're gonna have depression.
And if we are lazy, and if we are lousy, right? We we also put ourselves into depression easily. We
Use like substances as well.
huh? What?
If you use substances as
Yeah,
well, like drugs.
yeah, that is the lifestyle. If we use substances just like drugs, right? It's also put us into that kind of depression. So and everything is come from the thought, right? If we have the positive thought, we will have a good lifestyle. We have positive thought, all this thing here will be gone. Okay, but when we have a negative thought, right? All this thing here will appear. That's simple like that. Very simple like that. What about social media, Queen? What do you think? What kind of social media that will put us into the depression?
People judging you online, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, what else?
Uh, online bullying?
Yeah,
Maybe?
online bullying. And what else?
I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. Hung, what do you think? Hung? Okay, Kevin, what do you think, Kevin? Kevin, are you there? That's why I want you guys to turn on your webcam so I can see you in the real person. All right. Thomas, what about you?
About like social media, like cyberbullying, posting things or someone posting something that you don't like and it's about you and they won't take it down.
What else beside that? What else?
Just being toxic over the internet mostly, right?
And what about gaming?
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, internet game, anything. It's always toxicity.
Why game make you become depressed? I thought game is fun, right? Why game make you become depressed?
I guess an example is if you're playing games with like other people and sometimes maybe they don't like it because you're bad or anything. They would get mad at you and everything. And not only that, you use that as a coping mechanism and it doesn't really work. You're distracting yourself from the real world.
I think the key, okay, let's see. Why game is make us become depression? Why?
I think, like you said, some of the people they could be mean, and also like usually we play games to win, But
Okay.
if we spend a lot of time on it, but we lose, it makes us sad. And then we just realize that it's a waste of time. And then you think you're not good at a certain thing. And then you think about what you could do. And like, it all just like builds up when you like, if you like spend a lot of time on a game and you lose, and it all builds up in your mind. And then you start thinking about other things like what you could have done instead of playing this game or things like that.
Let's say that we play only 1 hour physically, but how many hours mentally we play?
Yeah.
Huh? What?
What do you mean? Like, if we only play 1 hour, but how long does it feel?
No, physically we only play 1 hour game, right?
Yeah.
But mentally, how many hours do we play?
I guess it would be a lot less. We would think like we're only on it for like say like we think we're only on it for like 10 minutes, but it's maybe been like 2 hours. Or it's really time consuming because you think you're not on it for long, but it's actually in reality a very long time.
No, I mean it's when we play. Let's say we play game only 30 minutes, but we always mentally we always think about game. When we eat, when we sleep, when we take a shower, we always think about game. This is what does that mean? It means addiction. This is what the addiction means.
Oh, addiction. Oh.
When we addict, you know what does that mean?
Yeah.
We will depress. That is the main thing that makes us to become depression. This is important because we always want to go back and play. And when people ask us to help them, for example, our parents ask us to stop playing for a minute and help them to do work, to do the house chore, and you keep postpone 5 minutes, please, 5 minutes, please, and you repeat many times, it becomes 1 hour. And this is make you become anger, and also those things keep repeating many times like that. You will put yourself into the depressed because you try to find a way to play game. If your parents ban you, that means they don't want, they take away all the device, they don't want you to play, and you will become depressed. Does that make sense? So this is important. So game is nothing is healthy from game. Most of them is negative and most of them is unhealthy. Yes, you can play little, but little by little they add up. You become addicted as well. Okay? So the best way, try not to play game, and you can free a lot of your time to do good things, to do the what you can do a lot of meaningful things. Right? This is important. Otherwise, we end up with our time in the game we waste a lot of time for those things. It doesn't benefit us anything, right? It will harm our school, right? That means we will bring down our rate. I remember when I was Thomas, you remember Henry, right? Thomas?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, he at that time when I teach the Buddhist class as well at 2016, right? At my house, because before I became a monk, there was a boy. He at that time he was 10th grade. I think he was 10th grade, and you know what? He played game all the time, even though that his mom catch him play game when at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And you know what? He's very smart. He can he did not need to study on the SAT, but he can get the very high score on the SAT. He's very smart. But the only problem here, he did not get the good grade on the GPA on his schoolwork. You know why? Because he did not have time to do work. That's scary. And you know what? He one of the students represent his school to contest with the other school within the state, not within the county, within the state. And you know what? His school is the second place or third place of all the high school within California state. He's very smart. But you know what? His GPA is very low. Only 3 points. That's it. You see? Yes, we are very smart, but because game it harm us. And you know what? Due to that, and you know what? His family moved to Colorado and asked him to move with them, and he said no. He don't want to be controlled by his mom, and he stayed with his aunt. You see that? Because they're addicted, it harm us. It harm all the relationship. This is scary. So we have to be very mindful, and we have to be very cautious when we deal with him. Remember, the game producer, I'm not talking about a game developer. Game producer, that means the company who sell game. They are very good at psychology. They are number one good at psychology. They know how to trigger the player mind to become greedy. That is their purpose. So you can buy their stuff. You can pay for their product. They are good at that thing. Okay? Okay, so we have to be very mindful, and otherwise we will destroy our own future. Okay, we will destroy our own future, and that's very scary. Okay. I wish that yes, you can play, but try to protect yourself. Otherwise, you harm yourself. You harm other people. When you get into the depression, at that time, you know what? When we have too much depression, we will commit suicide. So the whole purpose I'm teaching this class is try to understand the nature of the depression and how we deal with it, and we will become even more productive and have a better life, have a more healthy mind. Okay, that's important. Anyone have any question? Andrew, you understand so far, Andrew?
Yes, Thầy.
Okay, does it help everyone? It is productive teaching?
Yes, Thầy.
Okay, so I hope within 1 or 2 more weeks I will go, and we will, after that, we will move into the detail of each negative thought, and we will go to the detail of each type of thinking, what are they and how we deal with it, and put them and convert them into the positive one. This is the most fun thing to learn. When I read all these things, I say, wow, nowadays psychologists, they know how to deal with the mind. That's a good thing. The Buddha thought about this more than 2,500 years ago. Yeah. All right. Okay, I will stop right here. If you don't have any question, we will continue on this. Okay, we stop at the social media, right? Okay. So protect ourselves. Elizabeth, read this thing on. Elizabeth. Elizabeth, are you there, girl?
May every living being our minds as one and radiant with light, share my peace with hearts of goodness, luminous, and brightness.
What happened? She disconnected? Okay, that's okay. Thomas, go ahead and read this one. Thomas.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruit of peace with heart of goodness, luminous and bright. The people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity. May their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Okay, the darkness of our endless night is represent the ignorance. The darkness of the endless night also represent for all the negative thoughts. Okay, so when you have the wisdom, that means you have the word. Well, it's also represent the wisdom. Also, the light also represent the wisdom. Also represent the positive thought. That means once you have a positive thought, all the negative thoughts will disappear. Okay, so that's why the heart can turn into compassion and loving kindness, and the world of pain will turn into paradise. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. 1, 2, 3. Namo Yidava. Namo.
Namo Arigato.
Namo Irafan. Come on, Kai.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That's okay. Next time, join us a little bit early, Elizabeth. Yeah. Our class is start at 12 to 1. Elizabeth, can you hear me? Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.